Hey, what's up everybody? Back again with another video. Brian Maples, and welcome to the channel. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. I appreciate that. And for those of you that have been following, I haven't been able to post the last couple days because my kid has been sick. I've been at home, and I don't usually make videos at home. It's just I have to make sure everything's fixed up, and it's just a pain in the butt, so I do it here. So I am at my office. It's very late, but I am burning the midnight oil, literally, and I'm doing some videos here. I want to show you guys what I have found and maybe some of my ideas on some of the items, and so let's get right into it. So again, if you haven't liked and subscribed, I appreciate it if you do. Let's go ahead and jump right in. So first one I found was Room Divider. Now, according to the software, you can't really follow the software. You can't just blindly follow it, is what I mean, because it's not always right. And I took a pretty good look at this market, and it's interesting. And what I found was some of the negatives, some of the things I don't like. Like, let's check out these ones here. This might give you an idea. This just says bad quality. A lot of them, especially the wood ones, I've read that the paint, this is one of the ones, Room Divider, that the paint, or it doesn't hold up well, it doesn't stand up well. The paint, or it has a funny smell to it. If it's wood, the paint literally comes off. I've read that in some of the reviews. So all not good. And there are some ones with good reviews that are wood ones, but I'm not really digging that. The ones that seem to have the best reviews are made out of kind of like this, kind of like I think this is like a wicker one. Yeah, these ones tend to have the best reviews I've found. They come in a bunch of different colors. Now you may be asking yourself, how in the world can we differentiate ourselves from that? And this is a type of wicker, but it doesn't have great reviews. Let's actually see what they say here. I'm curious to know, because it's always good to look at reviews when you want to find out what. So they're not happy about the color. And that's not even their product. So I'm really confused. They must have been mistaken. It happens, but I know they just sold a different one. But colors can vary a lot. That's one of the biggest issues, especially on when you're looking on a computer, it can be a lot different. So it's really going to depend on your color settings and everything else. But at any rate, what I thought of was, I was like, man, you know what? I'll do ones with shelving. I bet. And then I looked up ones with shelving, and of course, here you go. There's a ton with shelving. And I really thought what was really cool is, like, they just have a board that slides through there, and that board gives you a shelving, right? So you just set it up, and the board's straight, and it goes through little spaces, and it creates these shelves, which is really cool. I like the ones with shelves. So I see ones with shelves selling pretty well. They're selling 18. That's amazing for 203 reviews. So there's definitely room here. There's a lot of volume. Even this one's selling at 47 for 13. So how can you really make yourself kind of different in this space? It's going to be difficult, to say the least. Prices vary, but you have people with high reviews selling 20 some a day. This isn't too high reviews, but this is more of like a curtain, which is interesting. It's a different type of divider. I like that, as long as that's a sturdy setup. And from the reviews, it looks like it probably is. Same deal. This has curtains. So the one thing you want to look at is there's a bunch of different type of dividers, and it's not just one type, right? You have the wood ones, you have the curtain ones, you have these, the fabric ones, you have the wicker ones. So, there's many different types. You have ones with shelves, ones without shelves. And everybody's getting a little piece of the pie. Like, this is even on the second page. Now, there's probably other big keywords, which I haven't looked at yet. But I would want to make something a little different here. If I look at General Scout, let's get an idea of which ones make the most sales. That's really what I'm interested in. Okay, so they're making 100. They have 5,000 reviews. They do a curtain one. They're doing 79 sales a day, which is fantastic. They have almost 4,000 reviews. So clearly you can see the ones that are making the money have the most reviews. Okay, this in particular one we're going to talk about. This one not that many reviews, and they're doing 63 a day. I think because it's kind of unique, and it looks like it covers a lot of area, but it doesn't have great reviews. At 4 stars, they're doing 63 a day. That's pretty amazing. So there's definitely room in this market. It's a massive market, and the question is, how do you pick one out that's going to sell, that's going to have decent reviews, and, you know, how do you pick one out of all these? There's some with shelves, some don't. Like 313, they have fantastic reviews, and they have shelves. So that just shows you right there. And they're selling them for $84. Just shows you can make money in this market. So if you create something a little bit unique, and I think if you market it properly. Now, it doesn't look great on the opportunity score. It's medium demand, high competition. I would definitely agree there's high competition, but there's definitely a good amount of demand here. The question is this the main keyword, room divider? It probably has a ton of search volume. So let's check it out. So I'd like to jump into X-Ray for that. Yeah, that's an understatement. 205,000 search volume, right? Definitely trending up. The all-time is trending up, right? Like it got up to 300,000, and now it's back down to 200. But clearly, it's trending up from below 100,000 back in 2019. So room dividers is a growing market. There's no question here. Last year it's had some ups and downs. All e-commerce sales are down a little bit, but even last year it was up to 300,000. Now that was during the pandemic, so that might have had something to do with it. Let's check out other keywords to see, what other keywords we might be able to compete on. Because to compete on a word, it's 205,000. It's going to be extremely difficult to get to the top of, or near the top of page 1 for this search volume. It's just going to be very expensive. So here we go. The 6-panel one, if you do one of those, is 1,200. Here's a room divider curtain rod. So if you do a curtain one, 6,000. That's pretty good. Here's another curtain one. So curtain one actually seems like it might be a good idea, but just a room divider screen, 5,000. Room divider wall. So if you think of it in terms of keywords, can you compete on the 5,000 search, 6,000 search, 1,000 search? Room divider with shelves, 3,000. Room dividers and folding privacy screens, 34,000. That's a little bigger. But on those 5,000, 6,000 keywords, absolutely you can compete. And if you make a good product. So that's what you got to kind of look at. Again, it's all about the keywords and where there's opportunity to go after those keywords. So what I would do is I would take one maybe, let's figure out one that we want to be like. First of all, I'm not thinking of a curtain one. Although, actually, the one I'm thinking more of is sort of like this. Now, they have websites on Alibaba that I've already found that have this actual design, right? So you don't want to go buy that design. I mean, you're going to be competing. This probably is the factory themselves. It's sold and shipped by Amazon. Round Hill Furniture Store. So who knows what kind of relationship that is. But what I have found is the ratings are good for this type. Now, this is more of the, I want to say like a Japanese look, right? So what I mean is it looks like you have the blossom, the flowers on there. Again, it says Japanese inspired room divider. Now, what my thoughts were to take this type of divider and add a Western twist onto it. So it would be a custom piece, but it's also going to be, again, a custom piece, so nobody else is going to have that. And you would have to have it custom designed. And I really don't know how hard it would be. I haven't talked to the factory yet. But my thoughts on this one were to do a custom piece. So what would I do to find this, to work this out? How would I do it? I'd go to Alibaba. I'd type in room divider. Now, I had found it previously, but I don't remember where exactly it was. I should have saved it in my bookmarks. But if you look through here, like, this is cool. This has wheels. There's a differentiator right there. Now, I want to say something real briefly. I'm going by the product first, and I can kind of, the audience I'm thinking of is somebody like myself almost. If I wanted a divider, I lived in a small apartment. This will allow, and it's more modern, and if you don't want the Japanese-inspired look, you can get something that maybe looks more modern and Western. Western-looking, when I say Western, like United States. So I am kind of that target market. Something that I would want is kind of what I'm thinking of. I don't know anything about some of the other stuff I've found, like cocktail smoker kit, I have no idea, right? I'm not into that. But the room divider, I feel somewhat confident that I can build a brand around kind of what I would want, and I think what would be cool. And I'll talk about that. But so I'm just kind of going by my own experience in there. You don't, you know, if you want to truly build a brand, a lot of times you want to find out a group that be able to give you some feedback. But sometimes you are the target market, right? And you can kind of decide what you would like, and maybe you have a good opinion, and you can always test this stuff out later. But that being said, let's continue on here, okay? Because this is some of this stuff's old school, the way it's done. It doesn't mean it doesn't work, though. So I really do like the wicker because it's very durable. So this isn't quite as durable. They also, by the way, sell that type of version at Walmart. This type of look, right? But I did find that exact one, and I think I looked up like room divider with shelves, but I'm sure I'll find it if I keep looking here. So again, if we're looking for basically that room divider we saw, that Japanese inspired look. This one sells really well, by the way. That was one of the newer ones that sold really well. So you come up with something like that and even add shelving to that. I had considered that as well. So my original thought, just to kind of back up here for a minute, let's see if I can find it. So here, my original thought was to take something like this and add shelving to it, or even add like something they can stick to it that you have shelving that you can kind of arrange your own way. That way you can have a plant on there or radio or whatever you'd want. You know, you could even, I'm not sure how they would design that, but you know, this doesn't curve in and out, so it would be an interesting thing to have shelving on. But you'd have to get it custom done. And I'm really about custom if you can, because it's going to make it different from what everybody else has. So I would like to see like some kind of shelving on that. You could even do like a pegboard almost, and do fabric and do a divider, and then do dividers that way. I was actually looking at different types of shelving, and there is like a pegboard shelving, but I don't know if they could build it into that or not, because it's kind of a fabric, so they might not be able to. But anyway, let's continue on. Let me look up room divider with shelving. With shelf. I don't remember exactly how I found it before, but I should just type in like Japanese inspired probably. I just want to find this one supplier. That's interesting too. Like, you know, the reason this is so interesting, because look at the colors on that. Like, that would be really, like, I'm sure, like, and I don't mean to stereotype here, but like a lot of women would probably like that. Like, if you like pink, right? Or whoever likes pink. But like, this is really a kind of a interesting design. I'm more of the basic stuff like this, but if you sold something like this, it would really stand out. And I think, especially probably for, you know, people that want a little pop, a little color, and it has the shelving, that would be really interesting for them, and that would be a differentiator right there. So that would be something you could do. Let's jump back out of here and take a look. And here we go. Here's a different type as well. So there are different types of dividers that are already made that you could try those as well. And if you can get a good jump on it and get some good reviews, you know, you could do well, especially if you're bidding on lower keywords. So this again was the type I was looking at, and I wanted maybe the shelving with it, but a design on there, and I can't seem to find it. I found it so quickly last time, and now I can't find it. It's frustrating. So even that has like a tropical design on it. So I'm sure you can get a custom print, is what I'm trying to say. Alright, I'm going to go one more page, and if I can't find it, I'm going to have to change the search term. I probably should have just changed the search term from the start, but and that's interesting. Like, this is like a plant, like, but it has spaces you can put stuff in. It looks like you can kind of customize it, and it's not so much like a privacy divider, but almost like an aesthetic type of divider. Like, there is some privacy there if you put plants there. So, you could sell under divider for this type of thing, and you may get an audience that's looking for that. It's tough to say if they would buy it under their search terms, though, because they're probably looking for something that's maybe a little more privacy, has a little more privacy. But that's still, maybe not. Like, sometimes it's restaurants looking for that just to divide the space up, right? It doesn't always mean they're doing it for privacy. Now, if they type in privacy divider, they're probably looking more for that type of divider. But it doesn't mean that something like this couldn't sell really well. And even like this, I'm not sure if those are pieces you can put together. So there's a lot of different types of wall dividers, and not every one of them is going to be on Alibaba. And what you can do also, one of the tricks I like to use is ask the supplier, say, is there any new styles that have come out? Is there any new designs that have come out? Because they'll know. Like, I get emails all the time from people like, here's a new product. Like, that's one of the best ways to find a product, to just simply ask your supplier if they have anything new coming out. And a lot of times they have stuff coming out that hasn't hit the market yet. And it can become a really big product, especially if you're one of the first ones in. And it can cater to like whatever brand or market you're trying to hit. If it's like home decor, if it's more of a broader market and you want to do different types of shelving and dividers, the hexagon, that is another one on the list. I've had them before. It's been a market for a while. Anyway, let's Japanese. Let's just type in Japanese. Man, I cannot find. I probably just have a horrible search term. Okay, let's try Japanese inspired divider. How about that? Nope. And there you go. That's different. I mean, there's a lot of cool. If you look through this, there's a lot of cool stuff. I don't know why I can't find it. It's driving me nuts, but it'll pop up eventually. As soon as I get off this video, I'll be able to find it immediately. Anyway, let's go back and take a look at this. So what one of my ideas was to take this and put an all black, make it 6 tier actually instead of 5 or 4, and make it, or we could even do 4, but make a city backdrop, like all black, with shadows and such, like a city backdrop, like a modern city. So city black backdrop. Let's see if we can find something like what I'd be talking about. So sort of like this. I mean, I'd have to have a Fiverr person do it, but you can maybe get an idea of what I'd be looking at. Just like an all black, like artsy type of backdrop, like for like the modern city type of thing. And I think a lot of people would like that. That makes it more of a Western. I'm trying to find a good example of it, because I would almost have to have one. I'd have to look through this. But this is kind of my thinking. So I'm finding a market that's really massive. I see that there are keywords I can compete on. And I want to create something. I want to take something maybe that's already existing, and I want to cater to more of like the Western side. So this is a beautiful picture. I really like it. I wouldn't mind having something like this as a divider in my house. However, some people might want something more modern. So what you could, I'm sorry, not more modern, more Westernized. So you could put this type, and these typically get good reviews. I sell them on Walmart. You could get this type of divider and then get them to custom print it on your divider for you. So if you had some really beautiful pictures, or had somebody on Fiverr design these pictures for you that fit these, you could sell those as a unique design. And I think if you go city, I think even if you go something like sunset or something like that, you could do really well. So that would make your divider unique. because really the picture is going to make a big difference in how it looks. I really think a city one would do well. It's just an instinct I have. I can't say for sure that it would, but I know like modern art has like a city backdrop type of deal, and I think that would be a good differentiator. And I like this type of divider. So you could, and I'd like to add shelving to it too, and I do make them with shelving. So I'd probably add shelving to those as well, potentially, but it might mess up the way the picture looks, so maybe not. So that's one kind of idea I've had. And to look at this, let's go back here. I didn't really look at wall sconces. I was looking at hexagon shelves, and when I looked at hexagon shelves, they are pretty saturated, right? So I was able to find, and I don't have it under this account because I don't want to expose my other account, but there's some interesting stuff in shelving too, and hexagon shelving. See, when I type in circle shelving, I was able to find a circle type of shelf. It's kind of like this, but it was really cool, but the price was just too high. They wanted like $27 for pricing for this shelving, and I'm like, and that was for everything in the picture, and the picture was beautiful, and I haven't seen anything like it on Amazon. So I really think it's a unique type of shelving. The hexagon ones are hot. The problem with this circle shelving is I'd probably have to compete on some of the regular keywords. I could try to put it under hexagon shelving and maybe sell some. I just don't know. So I'm a little concerned about the keyword. I haven't been able to find anything really like it. So for me to compete on that, I'd have to go after almost different shapes, or have to go after shelving in general. And there's a lot of different keywords there. It's a huge, huge market. Of course I can't find it. Like, it's driving me crazy. This is just, like, you know? It's like when you need to find it, you can't find it. But anyway, hexagon shelving, like, this is, Amazon's riddled with them. And they're cool. Like, you can find ones when we found it before. It has, like, a line, another shelf going across. So that's cool. Like, these are neat because they're colorful, and you can, you know, that's an option too. I don't remember I don't know if this is the same supplier. I don't know who the supplier is that I was able to find with these circle ones, but it's probably one of the same ones that have, and even these are popular on Amazon. So you would really have a hard time competing, but the circle ones weren't on there, and I feel like the way they looked, they would really sell well if you did some nice pictures. And it has, you know, pretty low competition. I just don't know what keywords. I'd have to do more research on the keywords in order to find out, you know, if that would work out. So even these are cool because they have like a pastel, you know, background, which is neat. So you want to look, if you're going to do hexagon shelving, you want to have something that's somewhat unique, right? Because you can't just sell what everybody else is selling. You're not going to sell anything. It's going to be too hard. And you really have to kind of know the market. And in this case, you got to kind of see what's out there and what's popular, and can you compete on the keywords. I cannot find it. It's like the worst. I don't know. I should have taken a picture, but circle shelf. I mean, I already looked up circle shelf, and most of those are those moon, like half moon shelves, like this one, and they're kind of like played out. They're very saturated as well. But what I did find, and I can't find the information because I communicated on my other account. I should have done it on this one. They're like circles with like colors inside, and they're white, and they're very like modern, cool looking. But that was kind of my idea. I did contact them for pricing, but the pricing was way too high. For hexagon shelving, they wanted like $9 or $10, but for the circle shelving, they wanted like $22, $27 for like just 100. If you wanted to test the market. I wish I could find them because this sucks because I can't show them to you. But they had leaves and stuff on them as well, like 3D leaves, which was really a cool look. And maybe I can find it with leaves. I don't know. I swear, everything I've tried today has not worked. It's like infuriating. Man, this sucks. Like, why is it coming up with such poor results? Because I'm probably putting in just the wrong terms. So what I'm gonna do, actually, I'm gonna just look up like who I was talking with. And I'm gonna actually see like if I can find one like it. Oh man, I got a new phone, so I can't sign in, of course. But yeah, if I could find these, I think, you know, everybody would be able to see the potential of this. It's very cool. Let me see. Alibaba. I don't even have it on this phone. Alright. Let's just see if we can find a picture of it, right? Like, circle shelf. Like, I've seen these, and they don't sell as good as the hexagon ones. I don't know why hexagon's such a big look compared to circle. Oh, it's crazy, because I can't find them. I cannot find them. But once I do, I'll show them in another video. For whatever reason, I cannot find those shelving. I mean, I think, let me think. Let's go back to Amazon and kind of get an idea of. Alright, so let's just type in hexagon shelves. So clearly, you know, a ton of hexagon shelving. Like, it's saturated, but it is a big market. Maybe it was, I typed in floating shelf, that might have been it. But you can see, like, hexagon shelving, man. It's just, everybody has hexagon shelving out. And it's really not, it's pretty saturated. I don't see the circle ones that I was looking at. So let's just try circle floating shelf, maybe. That's different. I don't think I've ever seen that one on Amazon, but it might be somewhere. The floating shelving is a huge market. There's just so much stuff, and this stuff I found so quickly last time. They're almost like these, but not quite. Like, these are different, right? So they make all different types. It was kind of like these shelves, but they had the longer shelves with them, which I'm sure this place could make. So they make all different types, like the color inside and the circles. So we're definitely getting closer. This is definitely the type. This might be the place, or something like it. I don't remember. I guess we'd have to kind of look through their catalog. So if you're on here and you want to kind of see what they have, just click on that, click on their name, and you can kind of get their products. So wall shelf right here, and I'm going to look through here and see if I can find it. But even this is kind of neat. So like, look, it has love right on top of it. It's different, you know. So there's so many options with shelving, and you can get something customized, and you could even talk to them and say, hey, you know, is there something unique out there? So I really haven't seen these, and this isn't the one. I mean, this is very much like the one I was talking about. So they have a shelf within here, so you can put stuff on it, and then it would have like a long shelf next to it. And then they also had leaves that were like 3D leaves, which made it look really, really clean and really cool. So you can get stuff added on. I haven't seen any shelving like this. And they also had hexagon shelves with leaves as well. And it looked really good. And I can't find that picture, but next time I get on, I will hopefully have it. Even hearts. I mean, that's cool, right? So you'd be niching down more. You'd have to find out if there's some demand for that. And you'd have to search for the right keywords to see if they're available or to see if you can sell it. But you can see there's different types. There's circles with colors inside, and there's ones that have, you know, love on them. which I think is very cool. So there's definitely potential here within the shelving market, whether it be hexagon and you're adding something to it like the 3D leaves, which I think is really cool. It was kind of like this setup, but it was with circles, right? It had circles like on the ends of this, and they were all connected, and then it had leaves or 3D leaves, which are really cool. So if we type in like 3D wood leaves, I guess, I don't even know. I think they stick onto the wall. I think they have a sticking portion on the back. I think that would be cool. And this is something I looked at before too, maps. Really cool. But yeah, so I can't really find that particular picture, but you guys, I think, understand the general where I'm going with it. That's an idea. So add stuff to the shelves. You can also add words that make words that you hang on the shelves, like love or family or something like that. You can also add different color hexagon shelves, but what's more is you can add elements to that, like leaves or something that go along with the theme of that. So you can almost make like a theme out of the hexagon shelves or a circle shelving. So that's pretty cool. So those are the two ones I've looked at mainly and have considered. I don't know about the cocktail smoker kit. Yeah, it's like in its beginnings, but like I don't even know if I want to take the time out. I don't. I'll tell you right now. I don't want to take the time out to learn about cocktail smoker kits. I just don't care. Like I don't know. It's just not interesting to me. It's neat. And what's cool is they use like, you know, different types of woods, and I just, yeah, like it's just not for me. I mean, and they all look very similar. I don't know enough about it. I'd have to dive deep into it. I'd have to go on YouTube, but the competition's low for sure. I mean, you look at the reviews and this stuff, they're very low, and people are making sales. Like, let me just click on this one. They're doing 15 sales a day at 251 reviews. It's not bad at all. By the time you get your product out, it's going to be, see, aged and charred. It's very neat. It's like very cool, right? It would be like a good gift for like a wedding or something. Let's watch the video. Just, I'm going to turn the volume off on that because YouTube will flag it. Alright, so look at that. So they're actually, that's pretty neat. So they're using the blowtorch to like get the smoke into the bourbon, I guess. Contain any excess smoke with lid. How cool is that? That's actually pretty neat. And they're using like wood chips, I guess. Yeah, I mean that's cool. No doubt. And then this is him talking about it.
It show you about this aging charred smoker system here for your drink. This thing is awesome. Need this especially right now around the holidays when people are around visiting. Check this thing out. It's really easy to use. So you have your drink, or a little bourbon or whatever drink you like to have in there. A nice ice ball or some ice. However you like your ice.
Okay.
And this is the kit. This is what it comes with. The butane you need. A little lighter system. Has the little hardwood chips. Hardwood chips.
That's sweet.
Okay. Right. You get some of those. We'll show you how that all works in just a second. And then you have this. Your actual smoker kit. Use on there. Comes with these extra screens. A little brush to clean. It has everything you need for this kit. And this is how easy it is to do an awesome looking drink when you're displaying it to get that little bit of smoky flavor inside your drink. You take some old chips, throw it in there, just a little sprinkle. You do not need much. Put that on top of the glass. Just like that. Sits right on there. It makes a bit of a seal. Then you take your burner. Get it started.
Okay.
And then just light them up until they just start to smoke. And as soon as they start to smoke like that, let it burn down a little bit. The top on it.
And that's it. So it forces the smoke in there.
Into the glass.
Yeah, I mean that's simple enough. That's pretty neat. So, you know, very cool. The thing about it is, there's so many out there right now. I guess the differentiators are, like, if you look at this, he only has one type of wood chip. I really liked what he had there. It was very cool. But look at this. They have different type of woods that you can smoke into that. So I think that's very cool. There's certain accepted type of woods, I think, for like bourbon. So you have to be a bourbon drinker, and you'd have to know a lot about that, I think. But nonetheless, that's very interesting, and it's very cool. You can see how everybody has their own type of different top, right? And everybody has a little blowtorch, and really it's the wood that makes the difference. And assuming that you have a decent little blowtorch and a decent, like this one is kind of neat. It's like plastic almost, but I almost like the wood one's better. But they're selling, wow, 26. So, it's just as long as it has a decent seal and you have like that little filter, which is really just a little like a mesh, like a mesh that lets you put your wood chips in there, and then so I don't know. Aside from the wood chips, I don't know how you differentiate yourself with this. But that being said, the competition is very low. I mean, you see people in here with 9 reviews. They have 2,000, but then they have no reviews, right? They have 22 reviews. They have 218 reviews. They're selling 40 a day. So, you really got to ask yourself, like, wow, like they're killing it. So they must have been one of the first ones. Clearly, this is probably a factory, I'm guessing. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm not sure. That's not. So I don't know. It sounds like maybe a Japanese brand or a Chinese brand. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it's an American brand. I have no idea. Cocktail smoker. So they're all very similar, right? Like they all have very similar. And the kind of, I guess what they're doing to differentiate themselves here is, they have the different packaging. They have, the wood's nicely packaged in a little bag here and a spoon. So they're adding this stuff to it, but they're also adding, what really caught my eye was they're adding these cubes, which will cool down your drink. Because I remember when we did like whiskey kit or whatever it was, whiskey decanter set. Like that was one of the things people use. They use bullets and stuff like that. So that's differentiating themselves. Kind of neat, and it's kind of cool. They have a gold blowtorch, right? Like a gold, like a brass-looking, gold-looking blowtorch. They include the spoon. So that's how they're making themselves different. They have the different types of wood. So, there's things you can do to make yourself different here, but, at what point do you get lost in the shuffle, right? Like, if you were able to launch right now, you could make some money off this, but, like, what I'm saying is, how are you different? You have the 4 different types of woods, right, which are usually, like, oak, apple, pecan, and cherry, right? So, how do you make yourself different here? You add little things, little mixers, maybe add some glasses in, maybe add a nice wooden set where it has the wood. That's something I would consider, that has maybe even like little cups, little wooden cups inside the wooden box that has all the wood chips, right? How do they get these wood chips? Could you include something that you could kind of mince wood down and do it yourself? Because what happens when you run out of wood? You have to order more, right? So maybe a play here would be to come in here and actually sell the wood chips. And that sounds kind of crazy, but what happens to these people when their wood runs out? They have to get it from somewhere, right? So the question is, are these just probably made in a plant somewhere? Probably just crushed up. So what I would do, and what I'm actually thinking about now that I'm actually thinking out loud here, is that I would potentially look to make like a gift pack of wood chips that you could use with this smoker and make your own brand of wood chips. That would be pretty neat. And you could even do this, obviously they're getting this from overseas. So you could maybe test out what you might like or talk to bourbon drinkers and then test out the wood chips and make your own brand of wood chips that would go for these smokers in little jars that people could buy once their smokers run out. So you could be a supplier of mini wood chips, which would be really cool. So that's something to consider. That's something that I'm really considering. And that might be the way to go. Well, there you go. They just did it. Now, they're not selling any, which is surprising. But they're just doing the wood chips, right? Okay. I mean, that's a good move. It's unavailable. So, my guess is they have sold out, maybe. Let's take a look. Okay. Yeah, they were definitely doing well in December. 1,400 plus. January they did almost none, and then they did like 300, and then I think they just ran out of stock is what happened. So 3 a day or so, but still, I mean, who knows if they were even advertising right. But that's a small project you could do fairly cheap with little risk and potentially do well. So consider, that's something to consider. Now, I don't know if that's going to make you $1 million, but these people are going to run out of wood chips at some point, and that's something to consider. So let's move on here. We talked about the shelving. We talked about the kit. We talked about the room divider. Wall sconces. Two-tier decor. Let's talk about two-tier decor first. I'm not even sure what the heck that means. I have to go back and look. Oh, yeah. So I was looking at this market, and it's clearly a popular market. I don't know if it's like more down south or if it's more. It's probably on like HGTV, right? It's probably one of those trendy things. But you definitely have like a market for this. There's definitely stuff there. So what my idea is a lot of these come with a theme, and I don't know a ton about it. This isn't really my thing. But I would definitely talk to people that I know within the family that are into this stuff and kind of get a better idea of what they'd want. So this is selling 7 a day. I mean, it's not anything or nothing. They're not sponsored up top here. And the question is this even the key word? So let's get an idea of what the sales are like here. And I do find that Jungle Scout sales tend to be inflated in my opinion. Every time I check my products, they're always inflated or deflated one way or the other. They never seem to be on, but I guess some categories they are. But anyway, so right here, like they've been here forever. 6,000 reviews almost. 221's not huge, but they're not selling for much either. So, I mean, yeah, they're selling 19 a day, but at $15, how much money are they making? So here's one for $30. They have 113 reviews. They're doing really well. They're selling 18 a day. This one, 418 reviews, not a ton of reviews. They're selling 17 a day. This, I'm surprised they're selling 16 when they only have 4 stars. They probably got 1 star out of the 7, right? And they're selling 15 a day here for $32.99. So these are kind of like the farm themes. They seem to be selling really well. So I feel like if you go like 4th of July, you're pigeonholing yourself to like that type of thing. There are some that are like, American flags and stuff, but I feel like the farmhouse look, like this is the one I was talking about. They're selling 8 a day. It's more like, it's not really 4th of July themed. It's like America themed, right? So, I think this would go towards more like, if you're looking at like this, like patriotic people, like you're looking at people that maybe have military in their families and people that are just proud of their country. But it does say Memorial Day, 4th of July. So it's kind of like they're kind of like catering towards that, but they might be the only one on here that cater towards that holiday. So they have that theme, and it doesn't specifically say 4th of July. It just says America in 1776 and, land that they love. So it's pro-American. And I'll be honest with you, if we're going to get political about this is probably catering more towards the Republican side. I'm not saying that Democrats wouldn't buy this, but I'm just saying, like, to me, this screams like, a farmhouse look in rural areas, and maybe even, of course, suburban areas. And I'm not saying people in the city wouldn't buy this, but I think the more target audience, they're probably going after more the rural America. There tends to be, especially I think, a lot of pride and there's a lot of farmhouse type of look to it. I'm not sure how to describe it, but that's the impression that I get. This isn't something that would be my taste, or even anybody that I know directly, but definitely, like, it's got a theme to it. There's nothing wrong with that. They're clearly headed up all time. It did really well around, of course, July, right around 4th of July. So this is somewhat seasonal because of the way they designed it, but they're still selling really well. And they're selling at $45, which is frankly pretty high. They're probably making this for $10 or less, and maybe even landed. So that's actually pretty good. This has a lot of potential. I like it. Even though this says medium demand and high competition, I disagree. I think there is room here. Like, this is like your typical farmhouse. They're selling for $44. They were higher. Very cool. Like, I like this look. It's very nice and clean. This is more of the farmhouse look too. Like, they're all kind of like rustic farmhouse. I don't know. Like, probably HGTV is probably showing this type of stuff, or maybe it's like tradition somewhere. I don't think it's tradition around me because I've never seen them. Maybe it's more down south. I don't know. But what my idea was here to kind of differentiate yourself a little bit. So have some common themes in here. You could put like the house, right? You could put some of these same decorations and whatever these are, and then on top of that, you could add elements for different seasons. So you could have one for St. Patrick's Day. You could have one for the 4th of July. So you would add different themes within it. So you could almost have like a four-way picture showing 4th of July, St. Patrick's Day, Easter even, major holidays, right? Christmas, if you want to have a Christmas theme, or just do the major ones. Do like Thanksgiving, or different seasons, autumn, or fall, whatever you call it, winter. Then you could, of course, you could have some Christmas themes in there. Or it doesn't have to be Christmas; it could just be winter themed. You could have summer themed and then spring. So you can have all different 4 seasons in there, where they can switch up the look of it. So a lot of these aren't just buying the 2-tier, because it's hard to differentiate, right? I mean, you can make it a different look. There's square, there's circle. Some have 3 tiers. But what you could do is you could actually create some common themes within it, but then have different little signs you include with it that make it unique to that time of year. So I would do 4 seasons. Maybe do major holidays. Maybe like 3 or 4 different holidays, right? So either way, I think that would be good, and that gives people more options to change it up, and it makes you a little more multidimensional. So if I'm gonna look at this, I want to see when it's selling really well. Like, this one's selling really well, and it doesn't have that many reviews, 15 a day. So what I want to know is, where are they getting their sales at? Get a little bit of a dry mouth here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take... Wow, that's pretty good. I mean, search volume is not available. So clearly not the keyword, but I'm going to take this ASIN. So I'll copy it right here. Jungle Scout, and I think also Helium has an option where you can just copy it. But you can also find it right up here if you're looking for it, right up in the link. So I'm going to pop in Cerebro here. Helium 10. I'm probably going to have to block this out so you don't see my stuff. Okay, here we are. So Cerebro. Paste it in here. Get keywords. So I like to look at individual ASINs. You can put in a bunch of ASINs and you can do the top 10 keywords and all that stuff. It's just not the way I like to do it, but you can do it that way. So here we go. 2-tier tray. Search volume 3,800. Very manageable. You can very much. There's a lot of competing products though. You can rank for that. There's a lot of. It is pretty competitive though for a low volume keyword, but you can definitely compete for that. Tier tray. You can definitely compete for that. And all these small ones in between. And you're going to see winter decor for tier tray. So they have different decor that you could do per season if you have all 4 seasons in there. so you can change up your PPC like per season. Here you go, tiered tray. That's the big one, 25,000. That would be hard to compete with. But if you get in page 1, you're going to get a lot of eyes on your product. So let's continue to look here. So they're ranked pretty high on some keywords here that are making their sales. So they're making 15 a day. They're pretty new, only 100 some reviews. Their organic rank for this one, for tiered tray, which has 25,000, their organic rank is 4. Like, that's fantastic. So if I click on it after the sponsored ones, when they're sponsored, they should be number 4. And this one, okay, 6,000. So they're actually, this one's doing well too, 113. They're selling 18 a day. I don't remember which one it was. I don't know. I don't see it. Maybe they're not number 4. Sometimes Amazon shows them funky, or maybe it's like, is it this one? Maybe it's this one, I think. I don't remember. We can go back and look. It's this one. So I don't see it here. I don't know why, unless they have more than one, which is a possibility. Was it this one? I think it's... They all look so similar to me. It's crazy. Maybe they do have 2 different ones, maybe. That's more of like a modern. So it's I'm pretty sure it was this one, or yeah, it was not this one. This one. So the brand is Genmos, or I don't see it, but this Oriental Cherry one was a good example too. They're on page 1. You want to really be at the top of page 1 if possible, especially in these big keywords. You'll make so much more in sales, but it's going to cost you. So it all depends on how you manage that. We can talk about that later when I launch a product. But yeah, you can see there's not a ton of, there's real decent volume on this tiered tray, like 25,000. And you have people at the top that are sponsoring themselves. If you have a different theme and you include, like, they have a ton of reviews, so they're kind of rolling this area up here. They're organically ranked up there. But they're doing well, 18, 113. They're organically ranked first on that. That's amazing. So there's no doubt you can compete. If you find the right price point and you find the right theme, you can definitely compete. There's no question. It's just, it could be a decent little product that can make you, decent money. So I like this product. It's definitely a consideration, and that's something, So I like the 2-tier decor a lot. I like the room divider idea. I like the wood for the smoker, but I don't know how well it's going to be because it's a fairly new product there, and so when people have to come and buy that stuff, it won't be till later. Maybe they have their own way of buying it. I don't know. But it's something to get in early, right? Hexagon shelves, if you can change that up to possibly the circle ones or the background. And I was even thinking put photos, like a spot for photos you could slide in. Behind hexagon shelves, I think that would be different. So there's a lot of different ways you can make that. It's a lot about creativity here and just trying to make something different. Or think reading between the lines, like I said, try to be the supplier of something that's related to a product that's hot. So that is my thinking on this stuff. I know I didn't get into the wall sconces. Selling well electrical, so would need to have certifications. Yeah, and that's going to be electrical for wall sconces. That's probably not something I'm interested in. Like, I don't know jack about wall sconces, but then again, I didn't know jack about tiered trays until I just did a little research and just, so yeah, this is more like, I kind of had the same, and this is previous, I did a list, the same type of idea. So what I was kind of thinking for these, and it was more so like a lantern, right? This is more like the lantern look, and they're selling pretty well for 221 reviews. They're selling 10 a day. That's not too bad. They're selling really well, 32 a day. So, again, you kind of have to have either a unique design, which is going to be hard because somebody can just come in with the same design later. If you get enough reviews, you can do really well. But if a manufacturer comes after you with the same design, they can get it cheaper. It's going to be a price at the bottom. That's kind of the big issue you run into here. So if you come up with something unique, it could work, but not really something I'm interested in tackling, to be honest with you. If I did something, I would want to do kind of, I know it sounds the same idea, this type of look, but I would have, and I thought about this for the lanterns too, just have it like a slot there. You could put like a leaf in for like fall. You could put like a Christmas tree in for Christmas time or winter time, or a snowman. Just different themes. Again, like different seasonal themes. You could slide in like a metal piece that looked like that. And I thought that'd be good for lanterns too. So that's something that makes you a little different, and you'd have to have custom made. So I'm all about getting them custom made. It is harder. It's hard to find somebody that do that stuff, but also it's going to pay off a lot more if it works. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. I've gone through quite a bit. I know it's a long video, but there's a ton of information in here, and I really do like some of these products. So these are all going to be considered for the product launch. And I'm going to have to do, if I pick one, I'm going to have to do more research on that to see if I can, get what people might want. And then maybe even do like a mock-up of it and then have it, on PickFu or something to see if people would choose that. So you really do got to do more research than normal, I think. And I'm excited to see, what we can launch here. I'm actually digging the 2-tier decor. I think I might have to do something like that. Yeah, so we'll see, guys. I haven't decided. I'm going to do some more product research in the coming weeks, and hopefully we'll find something soon. Have a blessed day. Thank you. Please like and subscribe if you made it through this video. It's awesome. I appreciate you, and thank you. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and share your thoughts and comments, and I'd be happy to answer them. Hopefully this gives you some insight into kind of how I'm doing my product research. And also I want to make sure I let you know, ask your suppliers if there's new products coming out, because that's always a great way to find something, because there's always new stuff coming out you might not even be aware of yet that they know about that you don't. There's also trade shows and different things like that. So anyway, guys, have a blessed day. Good night, and God bless.